Hey folks, Angra here. In my recent video I've discussed the touchy subject of world PvP in Ashes of Creation, and why the game cannot rely on tried and tested systems like PvE servers to prevent more casual players from getting griefed. This proved to be more of a controversial subject than I thought, with people in the comment section scared of having their time wasted by the same kind of trolls that lurked Stranglethorn Vale all those years ago. But that's exactly why I'm back to talk about it again. The fear of losing progress to griefers or having your limited time ruined by toxic behavior is a valid concern, especially for casual players who can't always invest hours to recover from setbacks. In this video I want to dig deeper into these issues and go over Intrepid solutions to player griefing. With all that said and out of the way, let's discuss why I think Ashes will not be a griefer's paradise. First, let's briefly revisit why world PvP is such a crucial part of Ashes of Creation's design. At its core, the game thrives on player-driven conflict and cooperation, with systems like no progression, caravans and world bosses all encouraging interaction between players. This isn't a game where everyone can exist in their own bubble. Your choices affect not just you, but the world around you as well. World PvP brings a dynamic, unpredictable element to the game. For example, caravans wouldn't be nearly as exciting without the risk of ambushes from other players. Guild rivalries over valuable resources or contested areas create stories that you can't script. Epic moments of betrayal, last-minute rescues, or the thrill of a hard-fought victory. Without World PvP, a lot of these experiences would be lost, and the game's unique identity as a sandbox MMORPG will take a major hit. That said, while World PvP can create memorable experiences, the key is to ensure it feels fair and rewarding, not frustrating. And that's where the corruption system comes in. The corruption system is Intrepid Studios' answer to the age-old problem of griefing in open world PvP. At its core, the system penalizes players who attack and kill others without provocation. If you attack someone who hasn't flagged from PvP, essentially minding their own business, you'll gain corruption points. These points come with steep consequences, your stats are reduced, and other players can hunt you down without penalty. This system aims to strike a balance. It discourages mindless griefing while still allowing meaningful PvP interactions. For example, attacking someone who's actively engaging in PvP or defending your spot in a contested area doesn't make you corrupt. It's all about context. But what happens if a player tries to abuse the system or repeatedly engages in dishonorable kills? That's where Blight comes into play. Blight is a lesser known but vital mechanic designed to escalate the consequences of dishonorable behavior. It tracks players who engage in repeated dishonorable kills. Essentially, those who make a habit of killing non-flag players. As your Blight level increases, the corruption penalty for dishonorable kills ramps up significantly. A player with high Blight will gain corruption far faster than a player that occasionally turns red to scare someone away from their favorite farming spot. Together, the corruption system and the Blight system form a safety net designed to protect casual players while keeping a risk versus reward philosophy intact. They ensure that while world PvP remains a key part of the game, it doesn't devolve into chaos. One of the most repeated concerns I've seen from casual followers of the project is that fully committing to world PvP will lead to Ashes of Creation being dead on arrival. There's a fear that history will repeat itself, with PvPers driving away more casual players and ultimately dooming the game. It's a valid concern, especially given the track record of other MMOs where unchecked PvP caused frustration and alienated a large portion of the player base. But let's take a step back and look at why Ashes of Creation might be different. Intrepid Studios is clearly aware of the pitfalls of open world PvP. They've talked extensively about these concerns in interviews and forums. The corruption system and Blight system are their way of addressing the exact issues that caused other MMOs to falter. They're not just tacked on mechanics, they're fundamental to how the PvP is designed to function in the game. It's an iterative process, and the alpha and beta phases are where these systems will be tested and refined based on player feedback. Another concern I've seen is the belief that committed PvPers never learn, and that their demands always lead to the same outcome, the death of their game. I think this claim paints too broad of a picture. Not all PvPers want a lawless, grief-filled experience. Many are looking for structured competition, meaningful conflict, and systems that reward skill and strategy, not just mindless aggression. What Intrepid is attempting with Ashes of Creation is to create a balanced ecosystem where PvP serves a purpose. It's not about trolling or griefing for its own sake. Instead, the goal is to create opportunities for organic, player-driven stories and conflicts that add to the game's richness. If that balance can be achieved, and that's a big if, it could set Ashes apart from the MMOs that failed before it. Finally, there's the concern that trolls will find workarounds to bypass the corruption and Blight systems. This is absolutely a risk, and no system is perfect. Cheaters and exploiters are a challenge in any online game. However, Intrepid has been vocal about the importance of maintaining fairness in their game. And while it won't be an easy battle, it's one they seem prepared to fight. More importantly, the layered design of the corruption system and Blight system means that even if some exploits slip through the cracks, the penalties for bad behavior can escalate quickly. Add to this the fact that Ashes will have a strong bounty hunter mechanic, allowing players to take justice into their own hands, and there's reason to believe that griefers will have a harder time thriving in this environment. I get it. There's a lot at stake here. World PvP is a bold choice, and it's one that comes with risks. But it's also what makes Ashes of Creation stand out in a sea of safe, predictable MMORPGs. This isn't about catering to one player type over another. It's about creating a game where every action has both meaning and consequences, and where the community shapes the world together. Ultimately, the success or failure of Ashes will depend on Intrepid's ability to listen to player feedback and refine their systems. And that's why discussions like these are so important. If you got concerns or ideas for how to improve these systems, leave a comment below. Let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, this is Angra, signing off.